Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, We're the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And this is our review for Five Nights at Freddy's. Based on the popular game of the same name, the film follows a troubled security guard as he begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. While spending his first night on the job, he realizes the night shifts at Freddy's won't be so easy to make it through. Ah, yes, based on the ever so popular game, Five Nights at Freddy's. I have not personally played the game. I know you have, which you'll let them know about it in 2 seconds. I have watched, however, countless streams of probably when the first game came out, when people started streaming it. Lots of my friends were playing it, so I would watch, and then I was like, this is horrifying. I could never play that. But you tried it.
I played it once. I was terrible at it. And it brought in so much anxiety. I was like, nope, not playing this again. But yes, just like Wendy, I have watched some streamers play it. And something that the game always really did very well was just bring that anxiety, just that gotta close the door, gotta do this, what did you do? And just that angst and just absolute terror. And this game did it very well.
Yeah, it really did. Jump scares always got, even though you know it's coming, like it's inevitable, right? But just, you wear headphones when you're playing or you're watching other streamers play, and you're just like, oh my God, why are you watching like this? So we have a couple of trailer reactions up for, I think just one actually, reaction for this film. I was really looking forward to it. I was like, oh man, we got to see like the costumes in person. It's Jim Henson that's doing the animatronic / puppets. We saw them like on display in person at Halloween Horror Nights, which got me even more excited for it. I would say this movie really focuses on the lore. And it's kind of spans over through like the first 3 games, if you will, like the lore of it. They don't like 100% carbon copy the lore, but like the essence of it, the origin especially, I would say they did capture that. But then they brought in Josh Hutcherson's character, Mike, and that is, I believe, aside from the fact that he's got a security guard job before Freddy's, he is a brand new character to the franchise,
yeah, I don't think that Mike is actually like the character that you're playing in the game, but quote, I mean, if I am wrong, please put that down in the comments below. True. I do believe that his character is a brand new character, as well as his sister
Abby. Yeah,
Abby. And I think they've also taken some liberties with some of the other characters.
Yeah, which we're not going to get into like that too much, just in case that is a spoiler for those of you who have played the game and have not watched the movie yet, because we said that this is going to be a non-spoiler review.
But something I did also want to touch on is that, I was actually really excited because of Jim Henson. I was really excited to see these animatronics. I was really excited to see how they did the puppetry, and because that is pretty much what the game is, and the biggest selling point of the movie is the fact that these are the characters that we know and love.
Yes. And that's also why I was looking forward to it. This is Blumhouse, and yes, it is PG-13, but the last PG-13 movie they did, Megan, or M3 as we like to joke about, we had a lot of fun with that. So I was going in super excited about like kind of this is probably going to be around the same sort of like scare level as Megan, but it's adapted from a very popular game franchise. I would say I was disappointed, not that they didn't focus on the lore. I actually thought that was really cool that they like really leaned in and like they're like, we're gonna tell this story, and that is actually the majority of where the movie happens. But what I also was hoping to see is to be, if not equal parts, but more so of the animatronics of like Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy, Chica, and all of them, like basically be murderous animatronics.
Yeah, and honestly, that was something that I was curious on whether or not the movie was going to be able to capture. When you are playing the game, you are just paralyzed with just terror and anxiety, and constantly watching those cameras and constantly having to save your energy and the electricity and having to manage it and close the doors and open the doors and being able to have to juggle all of this while being under this anxiety. And I have to admit that that was something that, since it was a PG-13 movie, I was very hesitant on whether or not they were going to go that deep in there, because it seemed like this was going to be, I actually thought it was going to be kind of like Megan. The fact that it was going to be like an introduction into horror for a younger audience.
Yeah, I would say the scares are lighter than, so if you saw Megan, then the scares are lighter than that. They do utilize jump scares and things like that. There was like one that got me. I was like, ooh, that's good. And I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because it is a nice Easter egg for the fans of the game. More on Easter eggs in just a bit. But aside from that, they really geared it. I think they understand where their core audience is going to be, like the people who, yes, and I know adults, kids, they play this game, but I think they're focusing on a specific demographic. And that's where they kind of like, I guess, did the scares with that in mind. We were looking for something just a little bit, just a tick or two more scarier. And I wanted more times with the animatronics. I really wanted more times with the animatronics. And I don't feel like I got enough of that. There were also, outside of the lore itself, there were additional stories to kind of help supplement the characters of Michael and Abby, which the payoff wasn't there for. I just felt like they just wasted time, valuable screen time that we could have given to the other more important characters and or the, Freddy's and gang. So was kind of disappointing for me.
Yeah, I do seem to find the subplot of Mike, his sister, what's going on with his aunt and his family really did just kind of take away from what we really wanted to see. Was what we wanted to see them in Freddy's trying to survive, and in a sense trying to survive the night. There really was no 5 nights.
Yeah, that's true.
At Freddy's. It was just an incalculable amount of nights that they were there. I guess, honestly, if we probably went back,
I guess it could have spanned over the 5 nights, but it wasn't defined.
Yes, and I almost wish that they would have done that. They would have had some other kind of gimmick to make it so this security guard that we are following in this story would be coming back to this job. And they took the lore and they were like, okay, now we have this character. How are we supposed to connect them together? And I didn't feel like they achieved that connection.
Yeah.
I felt like they could have done it a little bit of a different way. They put it somewhere, the backstory of Mike, in a different location. And I'm kind of like, they could have put it either near a Freddy's or around a Freddy's or heck at a Freddy's to maybe connect him a little closer to the storyline and to, I don't want to spoil anything, but to what is revealed in the movie.
Yeah, so I understand the intention of what they were trying to do. And I don't know if it's due to over editing everything, because, sometimes horror movies do better with an under 2 hour runtime, which is what this movie has. I think it's at an hour 50. But it was so distracting and the payoff was never there enough that you're just like, you're not connected to that part of it. And I wish that they had focused. Oh, I wish I could talk spoilers. Because I see what they were trying to do and I feel like they could have gotten there. They were so close, but I do love that they leaned in on the lore of it all. For the people who like hadn't played the game or they just know the game to be kind of like looking at security cameras, like now they can go into this movie and be like, oh, it's actually like that's the lore. So it's more than just some rando, like pizzeria with, Chuck E. Cheese like animatronics trying to kill you. Like there's actually a whole story behind it. Speaking of that, fan service I feel like is like 10/10
yes,
in this one.
We could hear the people who have loved this game and played this game in the theater with us.
Yeah.
And there were so many moments to where they're like, oh yes, they did that. Oh, that's my favorite part. Oh, and you could tell that they were getting the fan service that they desired.
There are Easter eggs that pertains to not just the first game, but little things through the second and third game. And I want to say maybe they like even kind of hinted at 4 and 5, but this is like the lore specifically that it's kind of contained within 1 through 3. So there are things that you're gonna see and things that you're gonna hear that's gonna make you go and which like I love, and I'm sure we missed like a ton more because we hadn't sat there and played through all the games, but the people who did in the theater because they were the loudest and like getting so excited, and I love that for them because when a movie, a video game being adapted into a movie has a huge fan base like Five Nights at Freddy's, and then like naturally you want like those fans to go out and enjoy the movie, whether in theaters or at home watching it on Peacock, because apparently I forgot that it's kind of having like a dual release. It's going to be in theaters and on Peacock. So look forward to, if you are a fan of the game and look forward to those Easter eggs. Yeah.
So if you are of that demographic, you're probably going to enjoy this a lot.
Yes.
However, I really just don't. I don't like movies that have a lot of anxiety and terror and suspense and where you're going the entire time. There was none of that.
No, there's none of that.
I really feel like the scares were mediocre. I feel like there was they didn't bring the heart of what the game provided and what people loved about the game. So I feel like that was a little lackluster, and the connection of the lore to the main character or the driving force of how we're telling this. There was even a lot of moments that they're like at the end of the movie we were going, wait a second.
What about this plot?
What about this plot? Well, they had this moment to where they built it up. It happened, but then you're like, wait, shouldn't there still be a dead body there? And shouldn't this still have happened? Well, what about that? There's a lot of those moments that do happen in this movie.
Now, before we give our rating for Five Nights at Freddy's, I also want to say that there are definitely one mid-credit scene. But I believe there's also something towards the end. It's not something you see, it's something you hear. So just stay tuned. The credits, sit through them, unless you have to go to the bathroom or something like that. Sit through them.
Watch the mid-credit, run to the bathroom, come back. I've done that on many occasions for movies like this.
Run quick. If the line's long, just go back. If the line for the bathroom is long, just go back. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and give you guys our rating for the movie, which is listed for you in the video description below. It's a little bit different, so go ahead and check that out. Look, I was really excited to go into this movie. Like, I was ready, and it's releasing at the perfect time. We're really close to Halloween. I love the look of the animatronics, and I enjoyed like kind of getting really freaked out by not even playing the game, but just watching the game. So I wanted to see what they could do.
Watching people's reaction.
Watching people's reaction, during the game, like falling off their chair and stuff like that, which has been great. And I think I kind of overhyped myself for the movie just because I was so excited to see it. It's still going to be really fun, especially if you are a fan of the game, you know all the lore, you're going to eat this up, and I love that for you. I think for the general public, well, who knows? Like, it's still, like, there are fun moments. There's still a lot of fun moments. I think the main thing is that there were some unnecessary stuff that kind of got put in there that I think took away from the main thing. I wanted more times with the animatronics, and I wanted to be scarier. So my rating for this movie is stream it, which you can on Peacock.
And I have to admit, I love the way that this movie looked. I love the animatronics. I love the visuals. I loved it when you were inside Freddy's. And I thought that it was a cool vibe. However, I don't feel like it carried over the heart of the video game, which is you are just terrified from beginning to end. I mean, I scare very easily. And I wasn't scared at all. I think there was like, same thing with Wendy, one jump scare that made me go, huh. And that's pretty much it. There was never really a moment to where I was like, what's going to happen? There was no tension. There was no anxiety going on. And that's something that this movie kind of really should bring because that's what the game is all about. And I'm also not a very big horror fan, so I'm going to give this not for me.
And there you have it. That is our thoughts on, our non-spoiler thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's. Let us know your thoughts once you've seen it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.